dear students. Today our topic for discussion is our unit number 2 of Human Resource Management, that is KMBN 202, and we'll be discussing human resource planning, employee hiring and job analysis. So when we talk about job analysis, what is job? So job may be defined as the collection of duties, responsibilities which are given together to an individual employee. So job analysis basic talks about this systematic exploration, study and recording the responsibilities, duties, skills, accountabilities and work environment which is related to that particular job, and the ability which is and the abilities which are required to perform that specific job. So it also involves determining the relative importance of duties that have been that have been structured into a particular job, and the responsibilities and physical and emotional skills for that particular given job. So all these factors uh, which are identified, what a job demands and what an employee must possess, is what is job analysis. So all these factors, they are basically bifurcated into two. So one is job description and second is job specification. So when we talk about job description, so job description means what it is. Basic job description, it is the information about the job itself. So herein we are not describing about the person who will be doing that particular job, but what will be describing is the job itself, like the job title, the working hours, duties and responsibilities which are assigned in that particular job, its working conditions, then salaries and incentives which are associated with that, and if it is in a manufacturing sector, so the machines which are to be handled on the job. And then we have job specification. So job specification is the information which is related to the person who will be doing that job. Here it, when I say person, that means what employee must possess to do that particular job. So it could be qualification, qualities, experience, and then family background, because family background has a very important impact on the person's ability to perform a job, and then training and interpersonal skills. So basically job specification, it talks about all the skills which are, skills, qualities, that means which whatever is required from the employee side to perform that particular job will come under job specification. So if we talk about job specification, it may be bifurcated into three essential attributes. First is three attributes. First is essential attribute, second is desirable attribute, and third is contraindicator. So when we talk about essential attributes are which must be, which employee must possess to perform that particular job. For example, it could be skills, knowledge, abilities, what we say cases of a person. And then desirable attributes are the qualification, what is desired. It might not be must, it might not be, prime requirement, but it is a desirable. So that means qualification of a person, which a person, those specifications which a person ought to possess. And then finally we have contraindicators, that means attributes which will become that will become a handicap to successful job performance. That means all those attributes which might help in performing that particular job, which neither are essential, which nor are desirable, but uh, if they are not present in the person, it will make him handicapped to do that a particular job. So we have, when we talk about job analysis, we can say, if we put it in a mathematical expression, job analysis JA is equal to JD plus JS. That means job description and job specification. data for job analysis. Now there are primarily 7 to 8 methods. First is daily logs, interview, critical incidents. Then we have technical conference method. Then we have job performance. Then we have functional job analysis, observation method, and questionnaires. So all these methods you might use for collecting information related to a job. Then you need to process the information. Once you have collected the job analysis data, so it needs to be processed. So you need the next step is to place it in form. That means the data that has been collected, it needs to be placed it in a form that will make it useful to those who are charged with various personal functions. That means the data that has been collected about the job, it needs to be disseminated. The information needs to be disseminated to the persons who actually require that information for maybe efficiently doing that task or getting tasks done by the say various other persons whosoever is associated with that particular or functioning of that job. So several issues might arise with respect to this. First, how much detail is required? That means if you go for collection of the data and then you are processing it into the information, then you have to make it make it very clear that how much information is required for that particular job, because your job should not be, there should not be information overload about a particular job, or there should not be you know uh, a scarcity of the information, or there should not be any deficiencies in the information which might hamper in the performance of a job by the employee. Second, the information should be expressed in the quantitative terms, because if you are not expressing your data in terms of quantity, that so then it will be very difficult for a person to analyze that what he has to perform, because then he will not be able to evaluate his performance and importance relevance of that performance. So it is very important that the data must be expressed in quantitative terms, because you need to measure it, because performance needs to be measured and it will be measured against the parameters. So those parameters would be related to the job analysis data that has been collected and processed finally. And then finally you need to prepare job descriptions and job classifications. So once the data has been processed, information is there with you, so it must be processed to prepare job description. That means information needs to be segregated in under two aspects: one which is purely related to the job, and second which is purely related to the person. Here when I say person, it is not XYZ, but any person who will be doing that particular job. So separate job description forms may be used for various activities in the job, and then job analysis is made with the help of these description forms, and then you will be left with the second set of information, which is job specification. So it is also prepared on the basis of information collected, and it is a statement of minimum accepted qualities of a person to be placed on the job. So it specifies the standard by which the qualities of a person are measured. So job analysis prepares such statement which is taking into consideration the skills which is required in performing the job. So you will get the entire say two different type of informations by job analysis. One is job description, second is job specification. Herein it would I would like to mention that job analysis is very important activity of HR department, or because it is the starting point of every function of the HR department. Um, because on the basis of on the basis of job analysis, you are going to have the JD. That means you will be which will be required for by the recruitment and selection department, and then the parameters would be set, the skills required would be formulated, so that it will lead down it will carve down a path for training and development, then performance appraisal, that what are the parameters which you are looking forward to in a person who is doing that particular job. Is he fulfilling those parameters? He as has he reached up to that expected level or not? And then compensation, that why he should be paid for that particular position, because job evaluation will be based on job analysis, and on the basis of job evaluation your compensation will be set. So precisely, so job analysis would be the starting activity of any particular function of HR. So talking about that, then we have certain techniques, that how should we go for the techniques of how should we what technique should be adopted to go for a job analysis. So job analysis can be conducted, by focusing only to the job dimension, that is task to be done. So such techniques are categorized under job focused techniques. So job focused techniques thus give high priority to the task or activities to accomplish for the job analysis. So we have four different methods or techniques for job analysis. First is functional job analysis, second is management position description questionnaire method, third is hay plan, and fourth is method analysis. These are some of the techniques of, you can say, commonly or popularly used techniques of job analysis. So what functional job analysis means, it is a method which describes the nature of job in terms of people, data, and the things. So it prepares job summaries, job descriptions, and job specification. So basically this technique was first of all developed by Labor United States of America. So what this method aims to, it aims to provide a standardized method by which different jobs can be quantitatively rated, classified, and compared. And the core emphasis of this method is rating of each job in terms of what an incumbent does. That means you need to in this method what you are doing, you are rating each job in terms of what a person does with respect to the data, people, and things. So this technique was basically designed to improve job placement and counseling for workers. So the method is being one of the most popular methods of the job analysis in private and government organization. So functional job analysis considers, considers all the aspects of the job. So second is management position description questionnaire, as the method suggests that it is a questionnaire method. So under this method, highly structured questionnaire containing almost 197 items are prepared to collect the information regarding managerial responsibilities. So not only management responsibilities, but demand and other miscellaneous characteristics. So information which is collected by collecting responses from questionnaires, they are analyzed and concluded for the responsibilities to be conducted. So it not only gives you idea about the responsibilities, but about the qualifications, skills, and other areas which a person must possess, because you are getting directly information from the people. So so therefore it helps in evaluating managerial jobs as well, and determining training needs. So this method also helps in succession planning. So third is hay plan. So basically hay plan is, wherein you are now not customizing or not talking about your own organization only, but what is going into the market, what is happening in the market, you are also considering that as well. So it is a method of job analysis which collects information regarding nature and scope of position. So it provides basically job comparison. To what it is compared to, job comparison is within and outside the organization. Very important. That means you are comparing your job data, or the data that has been, or the information that has been processed with the competitors. So this assists in establishing reward system in organization to make it equitable, because now you are comparing it with your competitors, or to in the market as well. So it automatically leads to devising a equitable compensation plan, so that you are paying what is being paid by the by your competitors in the market as well. And then we have method analysis. So method analysis, it is irrespective to traditional job analysis procedures. It concentrates on the method to be used to do the jobs effectively and efficiently. That means the process. How do we do that? How do we do a particular job so as to do it effectively and efficiently? Because traditional methods, they concentrated mainly on describing the job elements and general duties, but they did not discuss about how to do the job more effectively and efficiently. So method analysis is fulfilling that gap. So it is basically applied to non-managerial jobs. The techniques which is focusing on the principles of ergonomics and doing productive works and reducing idle time. That means based on the principles of scientific management, and it focuses on reducing muscular efforts. So therefore method analysis is precisely targeted to all those jobs which require machines or production line to work on. So these were some of the techniques of job analysis. Now we have job design. When we talk about job design, basically, now what is job design? In very simple words, it is an outgrowth of job analysis, which is the way of organizing. Now job analysis gives you information, but job designing is putting that information in a structured manner, in an organized manner, so that you can structure your tasks, duties and responsibilities into a productive unit of work. So it is concerned with changing, modifying and enriching jobs in order to capture the talent of employees while improving organization performance. Here it is very important to say that when we go for job designing, you need to find out that you need to keep in mind that what tasks are required to be done, or what task is the part of the job, because it should not be that a job is overloaded with the tasks, or job is underloaded. So your job neither has to be overloaded or underloaded by the tasks. Then second very important thing when you are designing a job is that one must focus on that how tasks are performed, what amount of tasks are required to be done, what is the sequence of performing these tasks, and therefore it will lead to the having very important elements of the job design, which is task analysis, worker analysis and environmental analysis. So when we talk about say task analysis, that means what tasks will be done, how each task will be done, and how these tasks will be fitting into each other, because one task should lead to the other task there, and moreover one has to keep in mind that there should not be the overlapping of the tasks. So then worker analysis will determine capabilities that worker must possess, as we have already discussed that we have essential attributes, we have desired attributes and we have contraindicators. So now you are putting them into the capabilities that will determine that what is to be possessed by the employee, and then determining the responsibility of the worker. Then obviously environmental analysis, which will analyze your location, temperature, lighting, noise, ventilation, and then finally you need to fine tune your job. How you are going to fine tune your job? As I already said, that you need to check if the work is overloaded or underloaded, ensure that tasks are not repetitive in nature, ensure that employee must not remain isolated. Very important. You should not have those tasks which will make your employee aloof in the organization. There has to be some dependence of tasks on the other members, so as to foster the culture of smooth interpersonal relationships, and then defining working hours very clearly and work processes very clearly. So talking about say job, when we say job designing, why do we what are the what is the importance of the job design? So it has to be that there is employee input, employee training. It will help in formulating rest schedules, then any adjustments if at all it is required. Then obviously there are certain factors which affect your job design, which are organizational factors. There are certain environmental factors and behavioral factors as well, which will help you in which will impact your job designing. There are various methods of job design. So these methods help to analyze the job, to design the contents of the job, and to decide how job must be carried out. So these methods are as you can see, job rotation, job enlargement, and job enrichment. So job rotation basically involves shifting of a person from one job to another, so that he is able to understand and learn what each job involves. And job enlargement is wherein wherein organization, or wherein a person combines various activities at the same level in the organization and adding them to the existing job. So it increases the scope of the job, which is also called as horizontal expansion of the job activities. And what it will lead to? It will lead to task variety. It will give meaningful work modules. It will help in ability utilization, worker-based control, and performance feedbacks. So job enlargement not only helps you in job designing, but also in motivating your employees, because it will break down that monotony that might occur into the job. Then job enrichment. So as we have already as you might already be aware of Herzberg theory of motivation. So according to him, there are few motivators which need to be added to a job, which will make it more rewarding, challenging, and interesting. So according to Herzberg, the motivating factors enrich the job and improve performance. So in other words, we can say that job enrichment is a method of adding some motivating factors to the existing job and to make it more interesting. Now we have human resource planning. When we say human resource planning, basically it is defined, or it is the process of identifying the number of people which is required by an organization. When we say number of people, it is not only the number what we are talking about, but it is about the quantity and the quality. So all human resource management activities uh, after job analysis start with human resource planning. So according to Vetter, human resource planning is the process by which management determines how organization should move from its current manpower position to the desired manpower position. You might be having, say, a specific number in your organization at one point of time, but organizations need more more efficient human resources in terms of number, in terms of quality. So HR planning, it is the responsibility of HR planner to decide whether we have that particular desired skills in our organization or not. So through planning, management strives to have the right time doing things, which results in both the organization and individual receiving maximum long run benefits, because your organization might have retirements, it might have layoffs, it have turnover. So turnover, you cannot it is something which you cannot stop. So when there is turnover, or when even retirements we are talking about, in case of in case of certain organization, even death. So these might disturb your number, right sizing of the organization. So you need to have that human resource planning. And we have both hard resource planning and soft. Hard is purely the number which we are talking about, and soft is we are talking about the quality as well. So human resource planning, it ensures optimum utilization of human resources which is currently available in the organization, and to assess or forecast the future skill requirement of the organization, and to provide control measures to ensure that necessary resources are available as and when required. And obviously, it helps in forecasting human resource requirements. It helps in effective management of change. It helps in realizing organization goals, promoting and effective utilization of HR. So planning is very very important in the human resource planning is very very important to maintain the right size of the organization. There are certain factors that might impact your human resource planning. So it could be environmental uncertainties, outsourcing, then your labor market, the supply and demand of the market, then the type and quality of forecasting information, time horizons, that means at different time slots, right, for short term, long term, and the type of strategy of organization. So all these are going to affect your human resource planning. uh, so when we talk about say human resource planning, if you see, we have environment. So environment plays very important role in term of human resource planning, because future is uncertain, your market is dynamic, and that dynamic market will have definitely an impact on the organization setup. So that that impact will have an impact on your organization objectives and policies, because to to meet the required changes of the market and to adjust according to those changes, you need to uh, accordingly change your organization objectives and policies. um, that will lead to impact on human resource planning. It will have an impact on the forecast and the supply. So what is required, that means demand forecast and supply forecast, that what you are expecting and where from that human resource would be fulfilled. So on the basis of that, HR programming is being set. Now you need to find out the methods, that where from you are going to get that human resource, and then implementation. You need to implement it in terms of having that ideal number and size of the organization. And then control, finding out the gaps and deviations if any. So either it will lead to having surplus employees in your organization or shortage. And so if you are having surplus, if it will lead to surplus employees in your organization, then you need to strategize it accordingly by either freezing down your recruitments, or reducing time of hours, or layoffs. And if there is shortage, then you need to tackle it accordingly through recruitment and selection. uh, so there are certain you know uh, forecasting techniques, that how do you, very very important aspect, that how do you forecast your human resource. So first is managerial judgment. Managerial judgment is that you need to that you need to go through the, it is a qualitative method of forecasting. So you need to have a top, either your technique, either your forecast, demand forecast will come from the top, that means top to bottom approach, or it will go from bottom to top, that means different departments will be putting forward their requirements or demand to the management. So managerial judgment, that means all together on the basis of your past experiences, the past trends, you are going to find out what is the requirement of the human resource in an organization. Then ratio trend analysis, finding out the ratio, that what job requires how many employees, what tasks basically. So you that is it is a quantitative method of forecasting technique. We have already discussed it with the help of example in our class. Then regression analysis also has been discussed in the class with examples. And flow models, you are having flow models, that what would be the movement analysis, what would be the movement of employees. Maybe that movement is through transfers, maybe that movement is through you know turnovers. So that movement will create certain requirements of the job position in the organization. Then Delphi technique, we all know what Delphi techniques are. And then work study techniques, these are some of the techniques of demand forecasting. Then HR supply, that where from we are going to have our supply. So HR supply, you are going to have your supply from your job inventory, that means what is the exact head count you are having, and where from you will be taking into your human resources, maybe job family inventory, even age inventory you are maintaining, that what is the ratio of your employees in an organization. Is it the eco boomers, the baby boomers, the millennials, and so on and so forth. So inventory of skills, experience, and values and capabilities that have been maintained by the organization in terms of information. And then inventory of salary grades, then gender wise inventory, and inventory of past performance and future potentials. So all these will help in your forecasting supply. So now we have process of recruitment. So according to Familiaro, personnel recruitment process involves the following stages. So it has got the recruitment policy, and identifying and determining the requirements, sources of requirements, methods of recruitment, and evaluation of recruitment program. So recruitment policy, organization must have a concrete recruitment policy in the organization, so as to lay down a platform for the person who is going to be in the recruitment and selection team. So recruitment, when we say it sometimes organization or management's approach towards recruitment may be very conservative. Sometimes approach of management is might be very flexible towards recruitment of the people. And recruitment, whether it should continue as a process, or it has to be time in and time on basis. So recruitment policy is going to decide that for the organization. And then identifying and determining the requirements, whether actually it is required or not, the demands that have been put forward by various departments. So recruiter has to decide whether it is actually required, and if it is required, then the number has to be very specified. Then sources of recruitment have to be identified, because every source has got its own advantages and disadvantages, and every source has got different ways of providing pool to the organization. So then method of recruitment, that how we should approach to those sources. And then finally evaluation of recruitment program. And this was all about your recruitment and the sources of recruitment, wherein we have promotion,